Hello and welcome back, SEAL community. I will be your play-by-play caster, the Dragon Rider, and joining to me today, my color caster, Vebe. How's it going, buddy? How you doing? How you feeling?
It's going pretty good, Ryder. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. I'm super excited. We have a Noxian Division game for us today between the Imagine eSports and Nekoma. Noxian Division games always excite me because I love casting them mainly because they're so just there's blood and guts everywhere. These teams like to fight and they like to get down and dirty, you know?
Absolutely. And don't let the lower elo fool you. A lot of these teams in the lower divisions make up for their lower average elo with a lot of great teamwork and really interesting coordinated plays that they pull off together.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's super excited to watch these two, like watch these teams collide and watch them face off with one another. And then you actually, when you watch these games, you see interesting plays that you might want to implement yourself because no one thinks about it. No one knows what they're going to be doing next.
Absolutely. It's super fun to watch, and I love seeing all of the interesting plays and gimmicks that these teams can get up to.
Before we jump into our pro drafts here, I'm just going to quickly run down the rosters here. So on Team Nekoma, we have in the top lane HLX Tommy and the jungle Infinite Blades. In the mid lane, ZZ Dog. In the bot lane, we have Deathblind and Strathhall. And on and on Imagine Esports side, we have Barb, Adrian in the top lane, Reese in the jungle, Goonball in the mid lane, and then in the bot lane we have I'm Faded and Legos 2000. So without further ado, yes, as I was just saying before, in Nekoma's team, ZZ Dog is a sub for this game here. Now, without further ado, let's quickly look over these picks and bans.
Absolutely. As we roll over on into this pick ban, we do see Nekoma in game one will be on the blue side draft here. And when we start looking at these first bans that have come out from both sides, we see the Shaco, Syndra, and Thresh being taken away from Nekoma. Some strong comfort picks for the side of Imagine Esports, as well as Nunu, Yumi, and Volibear being taken away from the side of Nekoma by Imagine. Interesting ban patterns coming out here. The Nunu, Yumi, and Volibear looking to more target uh, power picks in the meta. The Yumi more a comfort pick, but the Nunu and the Volibear definitely looking to shut down some of the power junglers in this current meta. As we move into the actual picks, though, we do see that Wukong being first picked by Nekoma, a really strong top laner and viable jungler. I expect it to be seen in the jungle due to Infinite Blade's propensity to play it. And then we see Imagine answering back with the really strong, powerful Caitlyn Morgana lane. Super oppressive right now. If you've played much solo queue recently, you know how good this lane can be. Super, super easy kill combo if the Morgana ever hits a binding onto a target. Ash Janna's immediate fire back by Nekoma. Enchanters are very good into the Morgana, especially at just bullying her out of lane, and the Ashe is the perfect counter in the current meta to Caitlyn. It will be very interesting to see how this bot lane goes, as it seems like a skill matchup, but definitely the counter is going over to Nekoma. And the Shen rounds out this draft just to provide a rock in the top lane for Imagine Esports. As we move into the second half of the draft, before we do that, do you have anything interesting you want to add to this here, Ryder?
No, it's actually gonna be really interesting to watch these two because we see these two bot laners be chosen. We know exactly what's gonna be going on here. So it looks like Nekoma is gonna be looking for either a counter pick for their mid laner or their top laner. So it's gonna be really excited on how this draft works. I really like how both teams are playing out the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we roll into the second half of Pick Ban here, we do see the Ziggs, the Corki, the Olaf, and the LeBlanc being taken away respectively by both of these teams. Just strong champions overall. The Corki is an interesting one. You don't see too many Corki bans these days, even against relatively good Corki players, just due to his relative obscurity, honestly. But I'm interested to see how that ends up playing out. The LeBlanc and Ziggs ban trying to cut off the mid lane pool for Nekoma, make sure that the ZZ Dog does not have anything too powerful to go to in the mid lane. As we move into the picks here, we do see Rek'Sai quickly picking up for Imagine Esports. A strong pick to be sure, very strong early game, and I'm not familiar with the Wukong Rek'Sai matchup that much, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. Immediately answered back by the Ornn and Orianna, two really safe laners, strong scaling, as well as reasonably good mid-game power spikes, especially once that Ornn hits 13 with his two ornament upgrades on himself. Very fun to see how they'll be able to work around that. And rounding up the game, we do see an Echo locked in for Imagine Esports. A relatively good matchup into Orianna. Certainly not the strongest Echo lane you can find, but Echo into any of these immobile mages can really put the hurt down in this lane phase.
Very well said. Very well, interesting teams. I think Nekoma is going to have a hard time in the early stages of this game, but then are going to answer back really, really well into the later stages. But Imagine Esports coming around with a great team comp and just the Caitlyn, good early, good mid, good like late. She's a beast in herself. That's why you see her first pick so many times.
Absolutely. Now,
Now,
without
without
further ado,
let's jump into game. We almost did that perfectly.
yeah, right on time, 5 minutes. And as we roll on into game here, we will see that across the map, just pretty much champions going where you expect them to. Interestingly enough, though, in the top lane, we do see a Shen with Ignite. Now, this is something that I've sort of hypothesized about a lot. Shen can be very present and mobile on the map just thanks to Stand United, and has such a brutally effective lane phase as he stands as a champion that throwing on an Ignite in there can really help you get some massive early CS advantages, and I'm interested to see if you can leverage that into such a tanky rock in the Ornn in the top lane. In the jungle, we do see Wukong taking Ghost as well. I'm interested to see how that plays out. You would imagine that Flash would be extremely relevant for getting some of these big Cyclones off, but with the Ghost buffs recently, you might be able to see the same thing, just more consistently on a lower cooldown. Mid lane matchups, we see Phase Rush Orianna just wanting to be able to run away from the Echo, and then relatively normal summoners across the way down bot lane as well. We see Comet on Janna, pretty normal choice there. Definitely the offensive of the options, though.
Loves me not.
Yeah, it just looks like standard laning gonna be pretty calm in the first half here. There's gonna be no invades, and looks like both teams are gonna be starting from their bot side of the map and then gonna be pathing up to the top here.
Yeah.
Hunter, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, for these jungle clears, it really does look like the Rek'Sai is going to try and put some pressure either onto this mid lane or onto this top lane. He will have pushing waves, he should have pushing waves at least in mid, bot lane, and top lane. And whichever one of these lanes decides to not push in is a really good indicator for this Wukong for which lane is looking to set up for the gank early game. Should be very interesting to watch how the laners play around that, especially. We do see some trading going on in the top lane, and this is that Shen power.
Shen is very powerful. He hit level 2 and then immediately did a nice gauge onto the Ornn. People really do disrespect the Q damage coming from the Shen. It is super powerful, and it's, as you saw there, just chunked out Ornn almost out of lane completely.
I actually would have liked to see an Ignite go down there, because the Ignite absolutely would have been traded for a Flash, if not for a kill there. And I think just blowing that cooldown, it's a much shorter cooldown than Flash, and just getting that lane advantage, setting up, forcing out likely a TP as well there, would have been much more beneficial. But we do see the Wukong in the top lane met by the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, there's going to be a fight up here. There's going to be the Rek'Sai engaged, and then the Shen turned onto the Ornn, getting the first blood over to the Rek'Sai. Then they're going to be trying to look to see if they can grab the pick onto Rek'Sai, but no, they cannot. That's going to be a nice double kill for Imagine Esports.
And huge kills coming out on the top side, one going over to Rek'Sai and the other going over to Shen. Big advantage in the jungle and top lane now, as well as the Shen CS advantage, just snowballing from here. And this is really what you can do with this Ignite Shen. You can just pressure players so hard in the early game here. We see fighting going down in the bot lane.
Yeah, there's something I want to worth note there. This Morgana has been doing work with her Qs, hitting them land after land. She's been a true bush Wookiee, if you will, coming in and just attacking and oppressing the Ashe and oppressing the Janna.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the power of this lane. It's entirely predicated on whether or not the Morgana can hit her Qs. We also see an interesting adaptation by the Morgana here. We see Hex Flash, which means she's just going to be looking to sit in bushes, as you said, do some bush wookieing, and then just charge that up and go for these really weird angles onto the minion wave and onto these two squishy champions on the side of Nekoma.
I love it. It's so funny just watching a Morgana just flash everywhere at all times.
Yeah, and it's also really interesting to see. We see the Cull picked up for the Caitlyn, and I don't know enough about the base HPs on 80 carries in the bot lane right now, but there's a pretty popular strategy going around in high elo, and in high elo I mean Sneaky has been talking about it a lot, where you take Cull and you take the rune that does more damage based on how much more HP the enemy has from you. And if the other player takes a Dorn's Blade, you're actually proccing.
Oh, oh man. I'm sorry, Hunter. That
That's a good
Morgana,
kill.
very unfortunate. Get the W from the Ashe, and then the Janna coming in with a tornado from downtown is going to be picking off Legolas.
Yeah. And some good gold coming in the bot lane there. Going over to the Janna is unfortunate, but alleviates a lot of pressure. We'll let the Ashe push out and hopefully get a good back timing here now, as we should see. But yeah, really what I'm trying to say here is if you take Cull, you actually do 8% more damage to your lane opponent, and that's pretty relevant. I don't know if that applies in this matchup, but it does in a lot of them. We see a lot of fighting going on in all of these lanes. Lots of skirmishing. Echo looking for a kill, maybe.
He's going to be backing off there. Getting too many turret shots is going to be really dangerous. Knowing that the Orianna, rather, is and a really good engage by him is going to be pushing her out of lane, and then she's going to be missing out on a lot of CS here.
Yeah, and once again, we see the flash coming in. Q's not up in time, not able to finish off that kill. Orianna still with TP available. Echo not so much. Another kill coming down in the bot lane, though.
Beautiful combo. Traditional trade that you'd see there is where the Morgana landing the binding with the Caitlyn trap. That you're just going to be sitting there for all of eternity, more or less, when you're dealing with trades with Morgana and Caitlyn.
And we're going to really have to see, but Rek'Sai in the bush here. Quick ulti coming out of ZZ Dog in the mid. Looking to turn it back around.
Got a nice double kill there. Well, a potential double pick, rather, not a double kill. But very powerful. But now, that's a bad spot, ZZ Dog. You might be strong, but you're not strong enough to fight all of them, surely. So the Morgana's actually going on the flank, but now the Uno reverse card taking out the Morgana. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe ZZ Dog could face all three of them at the same time.
It was all a clever bait this whole time, and that's the power of these better back timings. You see that Lost Chapter come out for the Orianna. Just lots more raw stats than the players across the board. Just more skirmishing in the top lane, though.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a kill over to Ornn, because the Ornn damage with the Brittle proc. But Shen
the Ignite
having
comes
the
through.
Ignite through for the Shen is going to be picking off the Ornn as well.
Yeah, and that's... I have to imagine you might have even been able to win that as Shen if you were able to flash the Ornn ultimate there. And that's just the power of the Ignite coming through again in that top lane. Shen still has ulti available, still able to pressure this map. They're at no global disadvantage, but they do have a extremely powerful duelist in the top lane now. Now across the rest of the map here, we do see jungle items starting to be picked up by both junglers. Both junglers did opt for the blue smite, and the first dragon has already been picked up quite a while ago, in fact, by Imagine eSports here, off of their laning dominance. You expect to see that continue, and I would imagine that Nekoma would like to seed as well the second dragon when that does spawn, and then look to hit some power spikes and fight for the third.
Yeah,
One of the
it should be interesting to see if they're going to be picking up Shelly. I know that we've been focusing heavily onto these dragons here, but a Shelly could be really helpful in carrying the Imagine Esports or even Nekoma into the later stage of this game.
yeah, just the nice gold injection you get off of it. But we do see a fight in the jungle.
Yeah, Infinite Blades is going to be catching a Reese in his jungle. The Shen ulti coming out. That ulti going out onto the Wukong with the taunt is going to be taking the Wukong out of the jungle. They're going to be picking up the blue buff for the Echo, and now the Shen is in danger. Echo's going to be doing another re-engage, but they are going to, I think, get out of this pretty cleanly. And Imagine Esports happy. They're very happy with this outcome. They're playing this early game really, really well, and getting a nice little bit of a gold advantage as well.
Yeah, and that's just that, right? Lots of fights coming on into the jungle. Nice pick going in. Finding the Wukong on top of their blue buff there and just funneling in onto them, picking up the easy kill and getting out clean as well. So as you were talking about on the Rift Herald earlier, it's a great gold injection so long as you can use it to get plates. But one of the really important things to remember about it is that plate gold doesn't actually give you XP, but another fight in the mid lane.
Yeah, there's going to be a flash out from the Rek'Sai is going to be trying to get the ZZ Dog, but Orianna turning it around, getting the ulti onto the Rek'Sai, knocking him out just so it stops that one last auto attack, and then the turret does the rest of the job there. Now with that gold advantage going slowly further away, it's going to be hard for Imagine Esports to fight this late game team comp.
Yeah, and that's really important. The Orianna picking up the kills. The Orianna is the hard carry of this comp. Unless something really weird happens where the Wukong or the Ashe hard snowball from early game, the Orianna is going to be so much of your late game damage. And getting this early advantage into a tier, which is actually interesting because I was going to comment on this earlier. The Orianna neglecting the first item tier normally implies that she wants to go for Ludens, but picking up the tier here, knowing that they're snowballing, knowing that they'll be able to get to that Archangel staff really quick, we should see a transformation on that tier come through around 19 minutes, so long as we can finish this Archangels quickly. And this Orianna should be able to absolutely take control of the game from here. Expect to see CS advantages grow and maybe even solo kills in this mid lane.
Yeah, traditional trading happening top side. I don't think much will come of it. I think our main key point here is going to be for this dragon fight. We do see the engage going in from the Wukong and from the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai ulting out, does get the execute off onto the Wukong. The Ashe is going to be picking off the Rek'Sai. Double ulti coming out from Morgana. There's a fight top lane. I'm pretty sure Ornn's going to be able to pick this one off. Gets a shutdown on Shen, and now we do see Nekoma coming out a little bit on top here, and they might be even able to get another kill on top of this. There goes the Morgana. In the backline, there is an Echo trying to pick off the Ashe here. One more auto attack and Ashe will fall down. Orianna is going to be trying to get this Caitlyn, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Caitlyn ultimate going down. Not going to be able to kill the Orianna, but we do see an Orianna and Janna kind of stuck in the jungle, kind of awkwardly. If Echo can find the Ori, I think Ori will fall to this. The ulti going out from Caitlyn, flash going out from the Orianna, Shen ulti going down onto the Echo. Echo is going to be falling to Orianna, but they are going to be picking up the kill onto her as well, going over to the side of Nekoma on. Sorry, to the side of, yeah. I got confused. Anyways, Orianna and Echo dead.
An absolutely massive team fight, super long, lasting over a minute there. We see that the Rek'Sai died at the beginning of it, is back at the Dragon now, trying to pick it up, as well as the Wukong, who also died towards the beginning of this fight. Another engage, Wukong looking for the kill.
The Dragon's resetting, but the smite goes over to Imagine Esports, and now they're going to be going on to the Wukong. Caitlyn's going to be picking that one off there, and that's exactly what they needed. They needed that extra little dragon, extra ocean dragon, really helpful, is going to help them carry, and then potentially, if they could get the soul here, on Infernal, it'll be really nice for them.
Absolutely. We see more fighting going on here. The Ashe coming in, picks up the Rek'Sai, looking for this Echo.
Yeah, the Echo is actually looking for them, getting the shutdown onto the Janna, and he might be able to grab the pick onto Ashe, but I'm not too sure. She's going to be getting in a safe position. Wukong's coming up, so that's going to be a good trade again. These teams don't stop. I swear, they just keep fighting.
No, and that's
The
another
dragon's
huge...
down, boys. The dragon's down.
They don't care.
And they
They
go
just
in
want to
again.
look for pick.
They keep going. Echo is in the jungle there, is going to be looking for the Orianna. Orianna's going to be trying to find the pick there, but Echo's going to be picking that off, and then the Wukong is going to be picking off Echo. Oh boy.
Yeah, lots of fighting coming in around the map here. We do see that the Echo does manage to pick up the Orianna, pick up a shutdown at the end of there, but the Archangel staff has come out for this Orianna. And speaking of Orianna, ZZ Dog has been playing this game phenomenally. Multiple two-man ultis already at 14 minutes. Massive impact in these team fights and really leveraging that early advantage that they grew for themselves.
Now, usually for Noxian Division games, like I was saying before, like they're very bloodlust, you know? And so in the early stages, I'd like to just kind of keep it calm because that happens. This just happens where they just keep going and they keep fighting.
Yeah, it's very matter of fact, like, yes, of course, it is another fight. This is exactly what happens at every point in this game. You gotta conserve energy.
Gotta conserve my voice. But we're getting into the later stages. This is going to be a really interesting game. Both teams even on kills, 11 to 11 here. And it looks like Rek'Sai is going to be picking up onto the Shelly. And but might be contested by Orianna and Wukong if spotted.
Yeah, and if we start to look at these lanes as the just free Ripped Herald capture will go over to the side of Imagine eSports. We see that the Shen is finally starting to get outscaled in top lane, but ganks coming in.
Yeah, they are going to be looking for Ornn. Ornn's a really, really tanky champion. It's really hard to kill him, especially when he gets up to like level 13. It's going to be almost impossible to kill him, more or less. It's really hard, but they're going to be looking for the Shelly drop on the top side, trying to get that Shen a little bit more roam potential, trying to look for a potential turret here, but it is going to fall as they take it away and keep the tier 1 turret. So that's going to be really helpful for Nekoma.
Absolutely. And the Ornn ulti up top side, clearing the wave, ensuring that the turret will survive. And we do just see more fighting coming in. Wukong looking for the gank onto the Shen up in the top side.
Flash engage going in onto the Orianna. Here comes the Echo. Double ulti would have happened, but is going to be fall too short as they take out Orianna. The kill going over to Rek'Sai here. Now, back to just a little bit more of a, imagine just a safer time. It's going to be a safe time.
I swear. We're done with fights for now.
No, it's back on, baby. Let's go. As the Orianna engages and the Ashe gets the Ashe arrow off onto the Caitlyn, but is going to be getting into a more safe position. The Ashe is going to be in the back lines there, is running out of mana. The Janna ultimate coming down. Here comes the Rek'Sai, is going to try and pick off Janna as well. Great engage from Nekoma, but a better disengage and then re-engage on the side of Imagine eSports.
Yeah, and another dive coming into the bot lane. Looks like we will pick up the kill onto the Janna down here in this bot lane. 5 now in the bot lane for Imagine eSports.
There goes Wukong getting a nice ulti, going out onto the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai ulting out is going to die to the Ornn, and then we get the kill onto the Wukong. There's going to be more fighting as well. The Orianna looking for a couple of kills here, seeing if she can grab anyone. Her ultimate is down, has to flash out of there. And Echo going to be flashing in for an engage here, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Down goes Echo, shut down, and the Orianna lives just with a little bit of HP. They're going to be doing some nice knockups. There goes to a kill over to the Ashe as the Ornn ultimate comes out, and the Brittle proc is going to be smacked onto the Shen here, and is going to blow up the Shen. ZZ Dog, why are you still alive?
He really shouldn't be. Really does not look like it. But excellent play coming out of the side of both teams here, just back and forth. A little bit of overextension on both sides, and you see the other team will immediately collapse onto it. 15 to 15 at 18 minutes. I'd say this is a lot of kills, but I watched LPL this morning, so I don't know about that. It's about as well as this. We do see Reese looking to see if they can get in on the Dragon, not able to get in time. Ashe arrow will answer, and they'll pick up the free kill onto the Rek'Sai, who graded just a little bit it for that soul point.
Yeah. You know what? I respect that, though. Trying to get that soul point would have been really helpful for the team, as it will give them a huge advantage going into a possible Dragon Soul. So getting the pick there, unfortunate that they did fall short, but I think it's a good attempt. I think honestly it was a good try.
Yeah, absolutely. As we sort of get back to this, laning phase has more or less come to an end, as we can see with all of this crazy fighting and 5v5s across the map at this point. I expect to see Nekoma starting to hit their stride now. We do see the Oriana's Archangel staff started stacking. It's currently at 575 stacks. Should see it fully stacked within the next 2 minutes, probably, so long as they don't die again. And that's really going to be the first big power spike alongside the assumable Oblivion Orb that's coming out on the Oriana. But more fighting in the top lane.
Yeah, looks like the Shen's going to be picked off here. There's really no running from the from the Oriana. But then we see in our jungle here, we're going to have a potential death to the Echo. Wukong going to be picking that one off. And Nekoma really rotating really well there. But Imagine Esports are going to try and see if they can do some work bot lane, get some extra turret plating, knowing that 4 members of Nekoma are topside. They're pretty feeling pretty safe down there.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just me, but like being in this position as Ashe, it shouldn't be dangerous, but man, does it give you anxiety being between that many traps. But now that the Rek'Sai's here, maybe this is actually dangerous.
Talk about anxiety. There's the ulti coming out from the Caitlyn. Is going to be trying to pick off the Ashe. Down goes Ashe, but we see top lane that they are going to be taking a free inhibitor turret.
Is this a base race?
Maybe. This is what I call a 20-minute base race.
This is giving me reminders of the 2013 LCK qualifier tournament, C9 versus Marn, where they just push top lane for no reason, and then Cloud9 forgets how to play League and loses their spot in LCS for an entire season. But we do see the top lane inhib turret drop at 20 minutes for the side of Nekoma. Really, really great way to break the base, and now just thanks to that, they should be able to get an inhib without even requiring Baron quite easily, just off of a single one topside team fight.
Yeah, it provides so many different options for Nekoma. It provides so many different ways they can get inside after, if say they win a team fight or get a major objective, you know? It's really helpful for them just to crack open that base.
Absolutely. We do see more trading going on around the map right now, but hopefully there's no more all-ins as I say that. There's an all-in going on the bot side, looking at this Horn ulti maybe to set up for the Wukong, but nope. Shen will escape in time.
Yeah,
as Shen's ulting to the Baron pit.
To the Baron pit. He has sneakily brought all of the members of Nekoma to the bot lane of the map, and is now at Baron pit. So clever use of the Shen ultimate, and good way to get them away from the major objectives, as we were discussing earlier. And down goes Baron. That's going to be a pretty clean Baron for the side of Imagine Esports. They're pretty happy with this outcome. Ashe is going to see if she can possibly pick off anyone here. Is going to be getting the ultimate onto the Rek'Sai, but is spell shielded. But then no, it's going to be re-engage onto Ashe, so that's going to be falling down. Echo is bot lane. They're going to be trying to fight that. The Janna is going to be exhausting out the Echo. The Ornn is going to be doing as much damage as possible to Echo. He's going to have to ulti soon, as he's going to be taking so much additional damage. But here comes Shen. They're going to be doing another re-engage as they keep fighting the Ornn, keep fighting the Janna. They might be trying to look for a pick, but both Janna and Ornn have a lot of great tools to their advantage to disengage, but they're looking for another engage. As the TP goes out, they are going to be trying to pick off either the Echo or the Shen. Now they're going on the chase. This is cat or mouse, a constant cat and mouse race here.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy the amount of fighting going on in this game. We do see after that, Imagine Esports have picked up this Baron, and they should be able to snowball that into some of the standing gold on these outer turrets, and maybe even into the Soul Point Dragon, picking up this first Infernal Dragon for themselves.
Ornn is behind them, does get the Morgana ulti, and they're doing another re-engage, disengage, re-engage again as they go and fight. Flash going out from Ashe was worried about getting the Morgana and the Caitlyn treatment. Orianna just missing the ultimate there, not quite able to grab them. Would have been a good pick, but it is going to be caught out as she gets taken out by the Morgana.
Yeah, and just more fighting going on. Morgana flashing in under turret.
I don't think they're going to have a kill here, but I can be proven wrong. As they trying to re-engage, they are going to be taking the dragon in the meantime, while exuding so much pressure on the mid lane. Really great job and really good macro play coming out from Imagine eSports.
Yeah, and I think this actually highlights a little bit about both the Noxian division and how you might want to be drafting in it as a team. I feel like if this is how the games are going to go every game, you just have to pick these champions with short ulti cooldowns and good early game skirmishing and dueling. Because these fights are just insane, happening all over the map this entire game. There's never a break for us to actually talk about any of the macro because they're just going to bang their heads into the wall time and time again. And they're looking to do it again, looking to find a pick onto the Shen in the bot side.
They're doing it pretty effectively. Effective headbanging, if you will.
Great headbanging across the board here for both teams. We do see the 3 dragon advantage coming out for the side of Imagine eSports, as well as a 2k gold advantage. But that gold advantage is good as irrelevant thanks to the ornaments coming out on the side of Nekoma. In fact, I'd wager that they're probably in a gold advantage when you take into account that Ornn's upgrades alone are worth 2,000 on itself.
The Orianna ulti is going to be picking off the Rek'Sai, as Rek'Sai was trying to pick off Orianna. Yeah.
Lots more fighting actually coming in across the board, and we're just going to keep saying this a lot. I really would like to see these teams slow down a little bit, maybe conserve some of their summoners and ultis, looking at either this Baron in 2.5 minutes or this Dragon in 3.5 minutes coming up. Soul Point's going to be extremely relevant, especially in a game that has this much fighting in it. It's going to get a lot of value and should effectively decide who's going to win this game. If Nekoma's able to stall out this Soul, though, for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, meaning steal 1 or 2, then I really do think they'll be able to let their scaling team advantage take what they need to and win this game.
I'm just imagining just the JoJo reference is like, deal!
Yeah.
As they just keep, oh, you're approaching me?
I'm approaching you!
I can't kick your ass from over here!
Oh no! You must come closer! And it really does feel like that sort of game. Lots of butt kicking in this match. Lots of fighting going in across this board. Alright, so we do actually have a lull, and I've been asking for this lull for a long time. So let's talk a little bit about these team fights.
The time's ticking.
Yeah. So, on the side of Nekoma, we just have a really straightforward front-to-back team fight comp. This Ashe and Orianna want to be protected by their 2 frontliners in the Wukong, and this Ornn trying to set up early on team fights, not get flanked by this Rek'Sai, Echo, and Shen. That's the name of the game, and if they're able to execute that and use the Janna ulti to reset properly, they should be able to take these fights pretty successfully, even at this point in the game, and especially once Ornn hits 16 and is able to give that Ashe a molten edge. Otherwise, across the board here for Imagine eSports, they're really going to have to look for some clever Echo flanks, maybe even some one-shots coming in onto this Janna or Ashe. And if they're able to execute that from that point in, if you just are down a carry as Nekoma, you should be in a losing position in the team fight. Imagine should be able to take it from there. We see fighting going in this bot lane. Shen looks to be caught.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Shen escapes, but I imagine he will, because he is pretty Ashe arrow is going to be every time. Wait.
Ornn ulti's coming in, will be able to pick up the kill. Dragon up in 1 minute, though.
I've been watching Shen time and time again just escape from so many engages and escape from so many just traps that you'd think that they would just fall to, and then they just escape. So I'm like, he's out of here. He's gonna be fine, you know? There's nothing to worry about. It's a Shen. You know, and as I say this, double kill going out for Wukong.
Yeah, 3 kills going over to the side of Nekoma there. And that's really important, but it's only going to be relevant for getting control around this Dragon Pit if they're able to leverage it. But Tommy going in onto the Caitlyn.
Yeah, he's going to be going in on a 2v1 here. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to take a kill, but he is gonna have to flash to save his own life. But here comes Ashe, here comes the Janna, here comes the Wukong. They might be doing another re-engage. With the Dragon coming up, this is a potential for Imagine Esports to get the soul here.
And I actually do think that Imagine Esports are going to be in a better position going into this fight, unless that happens.
You want to see a magic trick? There's the magic. Here, you see the Caitlyn?
If anyone wants the G2 Fnatic series, there was a lot of magic tricks coming out of Nemesis's Orianna in Game 3 that game. Lots of champions just disappearing, but now thanks to that pick from ZZ Dog, and this subsequent pick onto the Morgana here, that'll be soul negated and completely removed from Imagine Esports.
Oh, ZZ Dog, you magician, you.
Coming in, they do now have the Rabadon's Death Crown as well. Orianna with a super efficient build, and just straight ups the Leandries from a Ruby Crystal there. Massive gold on that back there. Now sitting on 644 AP between the Death Crown and the Seraph's Embrace and the Leandries. Massive champion at this point in time, and should be able to one-shot anything she touches at this point in the game. We're going to be looking around.
Doing a nice reset here.
Yeah, just in the safe reset. You don't honestly have to do anything on the side of Nekoma to win this game at this point. So long as you are 5 and you're not giving over the soul point, and wait for this to happen, just a pick coming out. Double shockwave.
Why do I keep cursing myself?
2 kills coming out to the side of Nekoma.
It's gonna be a reset. And then out of nowhere, Orange just comes in and just shouts from the top of his lungs, Ricola, and just hits them over the top of the head with this Ornn ultimate, you know? And now he's gonna be doing an engage on the backline on the Morgana, onto the Caitlyn. He's so tanky. The flash
speed for about 5
goes
minutes.
over the wall. He's gonna be trying to find the Caitlyn and Morgana. ZZ Dog wants in on this fight, and they take the Baron on top of that as well.
I think that Tommy, despite having Merc Tread, spent more of that Baron take CC'd than not, just between only the Caitlyn and the Morgana there. Another good binding coming out onto the Morgana there, but not going to be enough to pick up the kill, and Baron goes over to the side of Nekoma, and I think that this is going to be the beginning of the end for Imagine Esports here. Their last hope is going to be able to be picking up this soul, but I don't know if they're even going to be able to do that. It's not up for 3 minutes. There's an entire Baron to leverage on the side of Nekoma, and there's open inhibs in the top lane and easy gold in the mid and bot lane.
Yeah, Baron being so terrifying in just the extra AD and AP buff it gives you, that if they look for a team fight, they'll win it, because not only do they have the Ornn, they have that late game scaling as well, but with the Baron buff, it's just a terrifying scene. So honestly, Imagine Esports have to be looking for these picks and try and see to get kills where they can, and continue with that great macro play that they've been doing in the mid game and early game.
Absolutely, and lots of gold going into their pockets already now too. Big shutdowns though, sitting on top of the Ornn, the Wukong, and the Orianna here, could be very impactful if Imagine Esports are able to find some of these picks, get some of this gold in their pocket for this dragon fight. We will see the Caitlyn is working towards a Last Whisper item. Jury's out on which one it'll be. I imagine, that builds into a Lord Dominic's regard, so looking to negate some of the healing coming out of the side of Nekoma, possibly. But the Caitlyn is still going to have a really hard time, even once that's completed, in shredding down this Ornn. We see more skirmishing in the top lane. Ornn ulti coming out.
Here comes the Ricola man himself as he goes in onto the Rek'Sai, onto the Shen. Orianna is up there as well. They're probably going to be looking for an inhibitor here as they keep pushing in on the mid lane, and Janna kind of just buffing up the minions bot lane. So they do pick off the inhibitor, and they're
Janna
going to be...
versus Orianna's supportal combat push going down in this bot lane is fascinating to me. Both supports saying, I can't clear waves, but I'm going to sit here hitting you. And thanks to the Baron buff, the Janna's definitely going to win this contest. We see push coming down in mid lane.
They're really each other.
Bot
This
lane
is an intense fight as they keep fighting. The Orianna and Janna, sorry, not the Orianna, the Janna and Morgana are going to be auto-attacking each other to the death.
Absolutely. Very, very interesting going in the bot side. Interesting choices for both teams to commit the supports to the split push. But I think I have to be worried for this Morgana right now that going in on by the Ornn in the top side, bot side.
I don't know where anyone is, man. They're all over the map. Honestly,
Yeah.
they could be anywhere at any point.
We see the second inhib though, right? Going down in the mid lane here for the side of Nekoma. A huge advantage coming out of this Baron buff. It has worn off now, but with both inhibs down, they should be able to have pressure on this map for the Infernal Soul that is spawning exactly right now, and I'd like to see them just retreat and pick that up. All the lanes are pushed out for them.
Now, do you think Oriana's ball could be a Beyblade?
I think that would be copyright infringement.
They've done it before.
But like, have you seen Bladecraft, Oriana? That's sort of a Beyblade.
Yeah, I guess.
It's spiky.
It is.
Is that what a Beyblade
I
looks like?
really just want to hear Oriana scream "Let it rip" as she like lands an ultimate on like 5 members of the enemy team. You know, just a dream of mine.
Do see Oriana forcing out the flash from the Morgana there. Infernal's point for both teams now. 3 Infernals onto the side of Nekoma. And it's Oriana's AP it's not looking good. Looking for a pick onto Reese in the jungle.
She does get Morgana ult just binded rather, and just like put in place forever for mere eternity. And then I don't even know what to say about that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's gonna happen
you know
again.
What? She did it twice.
Oh, and is it gonna happen again?
The magician strikes again.
Yeah, and lots of damage coming out. As we said here, this Oriana's absolutely massive. Still sitting on both her summoners as well.
I don't know.
3,000 gold in inventory for the Morgana as well, or for the Oriana rather. Able to, if they're able to go back, or even have to go back, they might win the game beforehand. They are going to be even more powerful.
Yeah, they're taking up all the turrets here. 3 Infernal Drakes, Oriana. She throws a ball at your face. She's like, "Hey kid, catch!" And then like you get PTSD from your childhood, and then just fall over. You know.
Oh no. That's not good.
She takes out the Morgana, and now they're looking for the end here. This is going to be a win for Nekoma. Good game, great fighting, just constant battling, you know, from both sides. A really great performance coming out from Imagine Esports from the early game. But then, like we were talking about earlier in draft phase, that late game team composition that Nekoma drafted up for themselves really showed into the mid stages, and even exemplifying itself into the late stages of the game.
Yeah, and exactly as you said there, this is just a tale of how these comps work out. We saw Imagine get that early advantage, play really well around their strong early game champions, but champions like Rek'Sai, like Shen, like Echo, and especially Caitlyn in the mid game are just going to hit a brick wall if they don't get massive advantages, and we saw that start to happen. Nekoma managed to bring the game back before Seoul went down in favor of Imagine Esports, and just use their hyper-scaling champions really in this Ornn, this Oriana, and even a little bit in this Ashe thanks to these ornaments, and take it back from there.
Yeah, very well said. Really great game. And Hunter, could you give me a quick rundown on who you thought was our MVP for Nekoma and Ace for Imagine Esports?
Absolutely, and if it comes down to MVP for Nekoma here, I think it should go over to ZZ Dog here. Massive performance on the Oriana in the early game, keeping their team even, making sure that they can scale effectively, and then in the late game just outputting the brunt of the damage on the side of Nekoma, looking for picks, great shockwaves almost always across the board. Maybe a few slip-ups here and there, but that's going to happen, and just massive plays coming out of them across the game. If we're looking at an ace for the side of Imagine Esports, I think that's actually a little bit more up in the air. There's lots of good performances coming in from each of the players here. I think I want to give it over to the Morgana this game. Really good bindings coming out throughout this entire game from the Morgana. Really doing a number on the bot lane in the early game. And if their team wasn't situated in the way they were just due to how the comps worked out, I feel like those Morgana bindings would have been able to carry them to a victory.
Mhm. Yeah, very well said, and I couldn't agree more. Both these teams played really well, and then Nekoma coming in with the late game team comp really well performed, and I think we'll probably see something relatively this similar, or possibly even into a different kind of draft phase for our next match between them. But before we do that, we'll go on a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going into Game 2 of Nekoma versus Imagine Esports.
See you there. Hello and welcome back to Seal Week 1, Day 4. We just saw a really bloody active game between Nekoma and Imagine Esports, and we're just about ready to get into the second game in this Best of 2 series. Ryder, what did you think about that first game?
Lots of fighting, you know, lots of great, like really, but like between in all of that chaos, though, we did see a lot of great macro play coming out from the side of Imagine Esports. So I see that similarly, we're gonna see the same thing: a lot of fighting, a lot of battles, a lot of just a lot of skirmishes overall, as well as a potential looking for that. They really like the early game I see from Imagine Esports. but we see on the side of Nekoma a really like late game performance as well. So really excited to see what both teams are going to be playing out. And what I'm really interested about is honestly the picks and bans, because last game we saw them pick and ban a story, you know, the story of what we might see throughout the whole game. And I feel like it's going to be the same around here. Both teams doing a really good picks and bans last time, but I feel like we're going to learn from our mistakes and grow with more of a late game centric team comp for the Imagine eSports.
Yeah, interesting take on that, and I'm curious to see if what you think is going to happen does occur, in fact, in this next draft phase. And with that said, I'd like to just roll on into this next draft phase.
Yeah, let's hop right on into it.
As we get into this draft here, we do see Imagine Esports now on the Blues side. Blue side's currently sort of favored, at least if you look at competitive play, because of the power of strong first picks. But we don't actually see any of the super high priority 80 carries going through, such as Ashe and Caitlyn, in this first round here. We do see very similar bans coming in across the board. We see the Nunu ban, the Janna ban, and the Orianna ban as an adaptation to the massive performance from ZZ Dog in that first game. On the other side, Nekoma says, if it ain't broke, we don't fix it. Bans the Shaco, the Syndra, and the Thresh away once again, denying a lot of that comfort pick from Imagine Esports. Imagine, however, opens on a Ziggs, which is really interesting. You don't expect to see that coming in super often, and I'm interested to see if they're able to leverage the power of the Ziggs in the right way. It's immediately followed up by the Misfortune Yuumi lane, which is really interesting because I don't know, is it Curse of the Sad Cat? Or is it what do you call this lane now? Because I know the Lucian Yuumi is Bullet Hell, so I don't know what you call MF Yuumi then. I wish I remembered that.
I'm gonna call it the crazy cat lady, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with that for now. Nautilus picked up in response a really great way to interrupt and disable an MF Yuumi lane. Really obnoxious, because you can just essentially Nautilus ult both champions. Gragas coming in for assumably into the jungle, though we've seen some random mid lane Gragases come out in recent history thanks to his AP ratio buffs. I do expect it to come out into the jungle really highly here. And the Wukong once again picked up for Nekoma, again, assumably into the jungle. Any thoughts on this sort of first half of pick ban here, Ryder?
It's really interesting. You see you see Nekoma kind of doing the cut and paste strategy, like, okay, we're just gonna change up the bot lane a little bit more. But more surprising, the Caitlyn not being picked up in she wasn't banned in the first stages of the picks and bans rather, and they said, no, we don't need Caitlyn. You know what? We're gonna pick up the Misfortune. We're gonna pick up the Yuumi, and that's saying a lot right there. And then the Wukong, just a really good, like, you can put it top, you can put it jungle, but like we were saying before, Infinite Blades, we saw him last game on Wukong jungle, so it's more like he's going to be there as well. But Imagine Esports, this is where it gets kind of interesting here, because honestly, they're looking for just kind of like, okay, we're going to have some good wave clear, we're going to have some nice shutdown to that bot lane, and then we're going to look for a really good jungler, and then we're going to move from there. We're going to beat them in lane. We're going to just use our skills to win over this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we move into the second half of pick ban, you do see Nekoma banning out the Caitlyn Ashe, denying those two really strong 80 carries in this current meta, and punishing Imagine for not assumably picking up their bot lane before we move into the second half. The LeBlanc Cassio goes back, punishing Nekoma, punishing ZZ Dog on the mid lane. And then we just see Ornn picked up as another safe top laner. Fiora and Lucian. Fiora, big pick for Imagine Esports in the top lane. And Lucian rounding out either as a flex pick for mid lane or AD carry. And it'll be interesting to see where he ends up going. And then the answer coming out from Nekoma on the Zoe here. Just looking for that really easy lane into what they assume is a Ziggs.
Yeah. Without further ado, though, let's quickly just jump into the game and watch these two teams collide, and we'll talk a little bit more about our lane phases.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we do get on into this game here, we do see that it is in fact a Lucian mid lane and a Ziggs bot lane, really throwing the Zoe through a loop here. And I can't imagine that Zoe has an easy lane into Lucian. Zoe's normal defense of Trouble Bubble will still work, but Lucian's damage output is just so absurd in this early game that I am a little bit worried for her. Otherwise, across the table here, we do see the Fiora versus Ornn matchup in the top lane. Fiora going to be very, very effective into this Ornn, especially as she starts gaining levels and starts hitting her item power spikes. She should be able to take over this game and become a really dominant split pusher, and there's not really any answer on the side of Nekoma for a fed Fiora, or even just a 2-item Fiora at that. In the jungle, we do see similar things to last game. The Gragas does take Predator as per usual. And really just normal stuff across the board, it looks like, aside from that. The Yuumi does have the Ignite, and the heal does go over to the side of the MF in the bot lane. Sometimes you see some weirder combinations of summoner spells in Yuumi lanes, but just the standard going out there, and just interesting to see both junglers starting on the bot side of the map again. And we'll see how they manage to work with this.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how they're going to be playing this one out. I really like the team comp from the Nekoma here on the red side. And then, but we're going to be watching the Imagine eSports because they really want to have like a positions like win lane, win game, more or less kind of feel. They're really confident in their picks. I'm really excited to see how they're going to be playing these early stages of the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, these early stages are going to be really important for how this game plays out. Champions like the MF and like the Lucian really do need to get early advantages in their lane phase. They're just champions that are built around being able to do so at least. And if they aren't able to pick up advantages in their respective lane, I'm going to be a little bit worried for those individual champions and their ability to scale.
Yeah, another thing worth noting here, folks, is in our top lane, we do see the Fiora top coming out for Imagine. And knowing this from doing a little bit of research as well, they are a Fiora main, so it's going to be something to watch and see what they're going to be playing with, because they're very comfortable on this pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see the Fiora already starting to get a little bit of an advantage in onto this Ornn. Small CS lead, good trades coming out. The Ornn gets a full combo, but the Fiora just doesn't care at this point in the game. Able to utilize, actually.
May even get a kill here. She does! The first blood going over to Fiora, but immediately Tower says, "No, my child, you will not die in vain," and smites down the Fiora.
Absolutely, and something really interesting to note there, in case people are confused on why the Fiora riposte stunned the Ornn there, it's because the Fisher on the Ornn Q, actually we see a gank coming in the mid lane. I'll get back to this in a second.
Yeah, you do see the engage going in from the Wukong, is not able to pick off the Lucian. The Gragas there do have a follow-up to protect the Lucian, but is not going to be needed. So they're just going to be going over to the bottom scuttle and then possibly getting a double scuttle here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And just Lucian in the mid lane there, like balls of steel there, not flowing the flash when the Wukong goes in on him, knows that he's going to be able to survive and he'll be safe in that lane there. And conserves the summoner, making him able to continue this aggression in the mid lane.
Yeah, you do see Gragas trying to get that double scuttlebug, but is going to be unable. It's going to be contested by the Wukong, by the Zoe, and then the lane prio bot lane with the Misfortune, with the Yuumi, is going to be able to do some work as well. Flash going over for Misfortune. They are going to be picking off the Nautilus here. Down goes Nautilus. Going to be another kill over to the Wukong here. And a really great performance on... Ooh.
Oh no, Zoe's a champion.
No. Oh no, Zoe's flattish, and she ignites them away. So
Zoe's something. All right, and we see more trading coming in the top lane. Flash blown onto this Ornn. TP is available though, should be able to either sustain up using that corrupting potion or just back off. Fiora has blown most of her HP and mana going for that trade there. So actually advantage might just go over to the Ornn in that top lane. seeing as the Fiora TP is down for the meantime at least. Still a huge advantage coming out on the Fiora in the CS department, and should have a level advantage as we do see up there.
Now, Hunter, you're a Ziggs main. You're a Ziggs player, right?
I am a Ziggs player.
How do you feel about the TP bot lane Ziggs?
I mean, I feel like if you're picking Ziggs and you don't have TP in the bot lane, you're probably picking him for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
Into MF Yuumi, you're not really at risk of being all in, so honestly, you can take whatever summoner you want down there. I like seeing the TP and the Ignite come out here. It gives you both all-in kill potential, as well as lets you leverage what Ziggs does best, which is mindlessly clearing waves and then one-shotting people once he gets items. As far as the rest of the map is concerned, though, this bot lane, honestly, I think this bot lane is just going to be really boring. It's dodging bombs and dodging double-ups this entire lane, and that's going to be about it. I'd like to see the Ziggs, at the very least, go for a tier in this bot lane, since it's going to be so uneventful and boring, but it'll be interesting to see if he decides to go for perhaps a Ludens for a more aggressive take.
Well, you do see Zoe taking out almost half the HP from the Lucian. Is going to be picking up the kill before Lucian takes the life of Zoe as well. Nice trading from both sides here, but that Zoe Q is devastating, eh? I don't play much mid lane, but I just watched a Zoe Q obliterate a Lucian from full HP.
Yeah, there's absolutely, if you're able to hit the full Zoe combo there, it'd be very, very disastrous for your survivability chances in this lane. And the Lucian not opting for the cleanse is actually a big shocker for me, because we did see, even there, the Zoe picked up the Ignite and used that to answer back the kill on the Lucian, something that she's just honestly not able to do if there's the cleanse in that lane. There's no real use for a cleanse into the Lucian, and very rarely will she have it available to cleanse the Gragas combo. Meanwhile, across the rest of the map, we see the advantages continuing to grow.
Oh, here comes the turret dive from the Gragas. The Ornn is going to be trying to knock them up underneath turret, but it's going to be a little bit too early as they pick off a clean kill and a clean turret dive topside.
Yeah, and the Ornn being denied a lot more minions, more turret plates going over to this Fiora, and this Fiora is going to be an issue. We already see the full Tiamat being picked up by her before even, like, it's 7.5 minutes, and she's had that for quite a while now. Currently sitting on another 1,500 gold in her inventory, thanks to that plate she just picked up in the top lane, as well as the kill, and really looking to snowball this advantage. I'd like to see her go straight on into the Triforce, but we will, looks like they will be opting into the more sustained route and just going for the full Hydra before starting the Triforce. Across the lanes and across the matchups thus far, we do see the Lucian also maintaining this 10 CS lead, but the Zoe is starting to reach a point where she can answer back. Items coming in here, and lots of good hit skill shots going on in this mid lane. Otherwise, across the board here, I'm interested to see where this is going to go. We do see the first dragon has already gone down to the side of Imagine eSports, leveraging their winning lanes across the board here, and the Ziggs' ability to push, even if not necessarily win that bot lane. More fighting coming in, though, in the mid lane. Gragas is looking for a pick onto the Wukong, but not able to find it. Wukong answers back in, but the barrel does whiff.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to pick off anything here. A lot of fighting over the wall. It's a good 2v2 between both teams here, but no one's going to be the winner in this. Gragas not able to land that ulti, really unlucky, just out of the range there for the Wukong. If he did land that, I think that team fight's going to be totally different. But then we're going to be watching Fiora do Fiora things onto an Ornn, really just obliterating Ornn with her true damage abilities, and coming out on top side.
Absolutely, it's very much, you fool, you thought you were winning this trade, I am pressed R. And the Fiora just immediately turns it around, gets 5 vital procs immediately in concession against the Ornn in the top lane there. Absolutely destroys that HP build with that percent true damage, max HP, blah, 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 big dead blah. and Fiora just wins because that's how
You
that
know
works
what?
in these matchups.
What you just said there perfectly describes top lane of how every matchup ever goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of hits the ability, blah blah blah.
Yeah, blah blah blah. Someone dies, blah blah blah. You know, hits abilities. The one person who hits more abilities wins the lane. Blah blah blah.
What about target abilities?
Oh, okay. So they click, they go blah blah blah, and then oh wait a minute, there's something happening mid lane. There's a flash. There's a
And it's
flash
Zanya's.
engage from the Gragas. Zanya's from the Zoe is not going to be able to live from that. Is going to be falling down.
Yeah, and that's
They're
a broken
trying to
top one now onto the Zoe here. Not getting great advantage out of that really expensive item, but is able to survive for a few extra seconds. Rift, Scuttler's, Scuttlebug stolen by the fight here.
Yeah. Gragas not quite landing the ulti on Infinite Blades, and they are going to be picking off the Nautilus as well. They're going to be doing an engage going onto the Misfortune. The Yumi's going to be trying to heal up Misfortune as best she can. Wukong doing an engage. Lucian going to be ulting and going in onto Misfortune, unable to grab any of those kills there. Zoe's on the backline, potentially looking for a flank, and it looks like they might actually do another re-engage. Here goes Wukong. He's going to get body slammed by the Gragas. The Yuumi is going to be showing up, healing the Wukong just in time. Yuumi picking up the kill. Who's Lucian in the backline is going to be picking off the Wukong. They're going to be looking for more. Zoe's going to be attacking the Lucian as they are going to be going and advancing, shut down, going over to the Misfortune, which is going to be really, really nice for her. And on top of that, there is going to be a dragon that's possibly going to be taken after this. But who knows, because Nautilus is back up and Ziggs is on the flank as well. Zoe's over in the enemy jungle, but she's looking to see where they are, and then she finds out that they're actually over at the dragon pit. Now she's going to be going back with the Ziggs here. It might be another fight. Who knows? Honestly, it just keeps going.
Absolutely. And we see huge damage coming out. It's still coming out by this Zoe in this bot lane fight here. Looking to get the pick onto the MF Yuumi, but the Ziggs will fall down, and the Paddle Star comes in, picking up the kill. Grag is coming in, and the flank TP from the Fiora.
Yeah, that's a nice double kill going over to the Misfortune. Then the Zoe getting a shutdown on Fiora is really, really good for her. She was already ahead, and now she's even further ahead. She's 5-2-4 now. She's going to be a monster this game.
Yeah, lots of kills coming down into this bot lane. The Zoe, as I said, doing massive damage throughout this fight. And the flank attempt coming in from the side of Imagine Esports, but it's not good enough. They're not able to use that Fiora and use it to just destroy the side of Nekoma, just because this Zoe and this MF are too strong right now, especially when supported by this Yuumi.
Yeah, Ziggs going top side, going to be trying to get off that turret really quickly. The Lucian going to be doing an engage onto the Zoe, not quite landing the ultimate as they want. Is going to be able to escape from this here with the Zoe bubble.
And I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit worried that the mid lane Lucian there was just going to die outright to a Paddle Star by the Zoe, but not able to deal quite enough damage at this point in the game, much less without having spent their nearly 2,500 gold. You do see that now is spent on the Ludens and onto the Magi Soul Stealer. Starting to really look to carry this game with that Magi's.
I'm not sure if I'd be like mad or impressed, you know, if Zoe just did that as a champion. I'm not sure if that's an issue. I think that's an issue.
I mean, when she was released, she would have killed the Lucian there. I'm going to be entirely honest.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But we are not looking at release Zoe anymore, and we were looking at a Zoe with half of her gold value sitting in her wallet and not in her inventory. Now, we do see CS advantages will continue for the side of Imagine Esports across all of their lanes, only missed out in the jungle. Ooh. But
look at
big
that
combo going on there.
Look at them go, man. As the Ziggs bomb goes out, the Nautilus ultimate is going to be keeping them into the center there. The Gragas is going to be coming over the wall, trying to see if they can pick up a Wukong or a Zoe. But that Zoe is super powerful, going to be flashing forward, does get the bubble, does get the Gragas, is going to be looking for a Nautilus. It does massive damage to the Nautilus, but he's going to be able to live, hopefully. But the Wukong still chasing. That'll be the end of that.
Yeah, ridiculous plays coming out by this Zoe, flashing in, flashing out, flashing all about, picking up these massive Paddle Stars and even a few kills in the midst of all of this, starting to really get some stacks onto that Magi's. now has the move speed active available on it, and if I am on Imagine Esports, my first priority is to shut down this Zoe as fast as possible. Between this Nautilus ulti and the Ziggs bomb, you might be able to do it, but Nautilus slept and engaged on by the Wukong and just picked up for a free kill.
Zoe's reading everyone their bedtime stories.
That would... Interesting. We do see Gragas being engaged on in the jungle as well by this MF Yuumi and just not able to do anything, picks up his camp and gets out of dodge as quick as possible. We really do see big advantage coming in across the board for the side of Nekoma, even if it doesn't immediately reflect it on the scoreboard. Only the 500 gold advantage for them because of these CS leads across all these lanes. But these kills are really starting to add up, especially when you factor in the Magi's into this gold equation.
You know, our Fiora, she was doing really, really well in the top lane, but then the mid lane nation attacked, and the bot lane nation attacked, and now it's scary. Nekoma is putting Imagine Esports on their toes. Well, they're just laning really, really well and showing their prowess in their rotation.
And I'm really worried for this Lucian. Is he going to get one shot? Not quite. Not at that point yet. But
that's a magician in training.
That is a magician in training. You see those boots are going to turn into sorcerer boots. And those sorcerer boots are going to elevate this fledgling magician into a full-on one-shot machine really soon. Especially when that ruby crystal gets turned into an oblivion stone and you get sent to the shadow realm every time you go to sleep.
Ah, yes! You've activated my trap card, Kaiba boy.
Kaiba boy! We do see the Fiora starting to get zoned out by the MF Yuumi in the bot lane, and it's just got to be so annoying laning 2v1 here. I really want to see Imagine Esports leverage this entire person advantage across the map right now. But it's been so difficult because anytime anyone is alone and Zoe has vision on them, she's sniping them with perfect Sleepy Trouble bubbles and perfect paddle stars over these walls and just chunking them out, sending them to base, and making essentially the rest of the map a 3-on-3. We even see the... well, speak of the devil.
Owie!
And let me tell you, this champion is the devil.
Oh god! Why? Why does it do this? This is pain! This is suffering! The Zoe's underneath dirt, but it doesn't matter!
There's a flash on the ground, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
no! Oh no, Nautilus is dead.
Oh no, not a... No!
Oh
no!
Oh
That's
no.
a tiny child wielding a gun!
Oh, but there's something!
No! Okay, they did it! Honestly, I was scared more for Lucian.
There's another man there with a gun. Manages to pick it up there, looking to aggress, but the Gragas here, flash ulti coming in, not able to pick up the kill, but the return coming out from the bot side here. MF Yuumi turning it around onto the Fiora, and the Gragas looking to pick up this easy double kill, and it looks like Reese knew that they weren't surviving that fight.
Yeah,
or will be TPing.
Like, really great job from MF there. Really good kiting, and then the Yuumi ultimate immediately knowing that they were in danger. Really well performed by Nekoma there, and well played. It was really great, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit of over-aggression coming out there from the Gragas. Messing up the combo a little bit onto the MF gives her the opportunity, but a nice hook from the Nautilus, but there's no follow-up. And we're just
doing some
rift
damage.
drop. MF's gonna get healed up to full real quick. And really nothing actually comes out of that. I expected a lot more to come out of that Rift Herald or that Nautilus hook. Across the map
I think the
now
Rift Herald was about to despawn, so I think they just had to put it somewhere, you know?
Yeah, that's probably right, too. We do see Baron spawning in 30 seconds, Dragon not for another 4 minutes now. 2 dragons picked up on the side of Nekoma, 2v1 on the side of Imagine Esports. Ocean Soul will be our dragon of choice for this game, and, well, it's Ocean Soul. Everyone's good with Ocean Soul. Everything's good against Ocean Soul. The only thing that might counteract that is if Zoe one-shots you.
Yeah.
With that said, we do...
So, like, there's something I want to kind of discuss here. Actually, is the so you do see a little bit of a larger gap going on for the side of for Nekoma rather, but Ziggs and Fiora are really good, just kind of like shredding minions, and it's really hard to even like push into them. So it's going to be really hard for Nekoma to try and find a way, try and break open this space. It's going to be hard for them to play. And on top of that, they just got two really nice picks onto the Zoe and onto the Ornn there. So, Hunter, how do you feel that Nekoma, what does Nekoma have to do to break open this base?
For now, they have a scaling advantage. I think. Well, they don't. They don't have a scaling advantage. Who am I kidding? They have Fiora on the other team. They need to really start getting to these objectives. Get this Ornn to get some good engages, or get the Zoe to find some good picks. But with Zoe's Magi's reset here, and the Baron being started off again at 20 minutes for Imagine Esports, I have to be really scared here. There's a cat coming in with an MF ulti. This could be a quadra kill in the making. And Imagine Esports realizes that, and they pull off of the Baron in time. But that's 4 resets on this map, and they're still coming in for it, able to pick up the kill onto the Ziggs. In the bot lane, we do see the split push between the Fiora and the Wukong, but the Fiora is going to be able to pick up the turret, being able to pick up the kill as well, furthering her advantage and really validating this pick. Trying to look forward towards that Triforce as well, currently sitting on well enough to buy that Triforce straight out, but MF and Yuumi rotating bot lane, looking to see if they can pick up the Fiora.
Yeah, they're going to probably pick up Fiora here. Unless Fiora finds a magical, sneaky portal to their own base, I don't think they can live from this. Running away from a Zoe, running away from his Fortune, running away from a Yuumi is just almost impossible.
That was a tactical nuke right there. That Fiora never had a chance, poor girl.
Anytime, like, Zoe shows up, enemy AC 130 above! And
but the Yuumi's caught off alone, and so is the Zoe with the Nautilus ult. That should be 2 kills.
So with
3
that
kills
being said, now we're watching Imagine Esports just kind of more or less, for lack of a term, waking up and just finding picks where they can, and then just obliterating their opponent this way, where they just kind of said, okay, let's just look for pick after pick. We're going to take it slow. We're good with these champions. We're comfortable with what we need to do, and we'll just keep working with it. And time again, it's been working. They've caught in the Zoe, they've caught in the Ornn, they've caught in the Wukong multiple times, and now the Ornn comes in and is trying to sell them some nice ingredients, but it's going to be caught out by the Ziggs here. And now we saw where there was a nice, like, almost 2K, 4K gold lead on the side of Nekoma. That's dematerialized and liquidated itself into a almost even game state and slightly even bigger advantage for Imagine Esports.
We see fighting continuing across the board. Zoe looking to pick up the kill onto this Nautilus here and should be able to pick it up with this Drowsy. And the Ziggs forced to run away from the MF Yuumi on the bottom side of the map here. As well as Fiora on this flank now. Might be getting tracked thanks to his little ward here. Onto the Dragon. Dragon is spawning, but no one's really in position for it. Just 2 members from each team. The Gragas is certainly closer than the Wukong, but they're both making their way down here. Fiora starting up the Dragon, looking to see if they can get it, but being engaged on by the MF Yuumi. Riposte already down in a great barrel to save the Fiora's life, but Fiora will be out of this fight, and that looks like the Dragon as well will go over to the side of Nekoma here.
Yuumi's heals are so powerful. Misfortune got half health by the Gragas and immediately full health by the Yuumi. So Gragas actually coming in and going over the wall, stealing the Dragon and getting out with his life. This is really good for Imagine Esports as they're doing another engage. A kill going over to the Fiora, onto the Wukong, and then the Fiora dying over to the Zoe. Zoe does have Fork, is going to be looking for extra kills, but might actually be caught out here. Is in danger. Shutdown going over to the Lucian, and now they are going to continue the reign of terror that is Imagine Esports as they get this lead, and they're going to keep playing with this as well.
Absolutely, and we do see pretty much gold still very equal overall. Imagine Esports only with an 800 gold advantage. Again, despite them being down 6 kills now, that a lot of that is coming from this 1 turret advantage they have, a lot of the plates they got, and the CS advantages that they've managed to accrue in all of their carries lanes. Otherwise, across the board, we're just looking at scaling up, I think, for the side of both teams in a way. you really want to get this Ornn to their ornaments, and it looks like we should be able to accomplish that right about now. He should be finishing up his Abyssal Mask, soon to be Infernal Mask, probably as soon as he sells this Corrupting Potion, which he opts not to do, knowing he can just build his item once he gets a little bit more gold in lane. The MF is right at the peak of her power right now, though, and I'd say that the Zoe is doing pretty hot for herself, too. Still, this Magi's, though, with 0 stacks on it, and you have to be careful about this. That's just a waste of, like, 600-700 gold sitting in inventory right there. And that, again, is gonna look towards a gold advantage for the side of Imagine Esports. Otherwise, these team comps really looking at enabling the split push on the side of Imagine Esports, really want this Fiora to be doing your hard work in this game. She's currently being matched by the Wukong, but I don't know if that Wukong is really going to be able to win these fights in the long term, much less now that the Triforce has been picked up. Fighting going into the vault lane, though, and this isn't a fair fight.
The Ornn ultimate is going to be going in with the repose from the Fiora. She's going to be knocked up by the engage. E ultimate coming in from the Wukong is going to be picking that up. But in response to this, we see Imagine Esports, knowing that their macro play from last game, showing again, going to be taking this Baron. All of the members, resource to that bot lane Fiora, is now going to be potentially losing a Baron off of this.
And the Baron should fall before they have a chance to show up. Lucian securing the last hit. Nautilus will be slept up and should die here, but a great cast coming in from the Gragas, completely disrupting that MF Yuumi combo onto the Nautilus and letting him get away safely.
Yeah, really good job by the Gragas there. Really great ulti going out and then disturbing just like a little proc. So the Nautilus took minimal damage due to the Zoe bubble and was able to live with a Baron buff, which is going to be huge for them.
Yeah, and Imagine Esports have to be happy about picking up this Baron here, but one of the important things to remember here is that since Fiora died there, she's not going to have the Baron buff on her, and she's the person you're going to be wanting to push these side lanes to get these advantages. Without the Baron buff, it's honestly, I'm not sure if it's going to do much of anything for the side of Imagine Esports, aside from the golden stats. As we look,
I just noticed now that Zoe, those crystals, there's letters in those. And I was like, what are the letters? Do they spell something? I'm just trying to craft something out with it. I'm like, surely something will show itself in these letters. But no, they're just runes. I thought it was going to spell something funny. I was wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
When the runes come up, I'll show you. You're going to look at Zoe. You're going to look at the runes, and you'll be like, yeah, Nolan, those are runes.
See more fighting coming out here. And here we see, this is why the Wukong has been forced to fight this Fiora for the entire game. Just 2 vital procs onto the Ornn, chunks him down to below half HP super effectively, getting massive pressure on this turret here, and maybe even looking for the ability to dive here. But Fiora getting stunned up in the turret range, and the Ornn looking to fire back with here, and just... Yeah, a bit of a mistake coming in from the Fiora in the top lane there. Drawing turret aggro at the wrong time, getting stunned up, wasting repose, and just getting one-tapped by the Ornn. Aside
looking for a nice kind of a reset. And then on top of this, there's going to be a huge dragon fight that's about to erupt, because this is going to be 4 soul points for both teams, actually. And Ocean Soul being good, like you said, on both sides is going to be vital to these team fights. You do see Wukong already using his ultimate, so that's going to be huge in this next fight as well. And they're going to be possibly picking him off. The cleanse going out from the Zoe, but the Wukong being picked up. The MF does pick off the Nautilus, but the Nautilus also able to pick off the Zoe and all of this. Now it's just Misfortune, Yuumi, and Ornn, and Ornn is not in a position to fight this. They have to kind of just give up Soul Point now.
Yeah, and that it's just that we will be seeing Soul Point achieved for the side of Imagine Esports. Looking to be able to perhaps pick up that Ocean Soul in the next 5 minutes, and that'll be a huge boon for them if they're able to pick it up. Should be able to secure their ability to both split push and team fight even into this team comp if they're able to pick it up. Right now, it's really got to be a battle between the scaling of the Yuumi versus the scaling of the Fiora. with the Ornn helping out a little bit in there, just with keeping the MF and the Wukong relevant in the stat race. The Lucian is actually coming into sort of a second power spike in their game at this point. With this many items picked up on the champion, you start seeing in a almost similar way to Caitlyn, where even if you didn't have that massive advantage, which this Lucian did manage to achieve, you're gonna see them start doing ridiculous amounts of damage anyways, because they're just an 80 carry. They're just a crit carry, in fact, at this point, with both armor penetration and a Blade of the Ruined King to ensure that they're safe and sustained.
Yeah, we're gonna see Ornn picking up another item here, and then being level 17, more ornaments going out to the team. So there might be a on the top side here. You're gonna see a little bit of a 2K gold lead for Imagine, but with the Ornn being in play here, it's kind of there's a secret gold amount, the Ornn gold amount that's being put as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the Ornn, the ornaments really are adding a lot of gold value, as you say, to the side of Nekoma right now. But Lucian getting called out by this.
The magician has showed itself, everyone! And
Yeah.
down goes the Lucian. It doesn't matter that that Zoe was 2 levels down at that point. It don't matter because Zoe goes burr.
Zoe does go burr, and looking to be picked off, however, by this Gragas, and the Nautilus here does get one shot by the combination of the two of them. That's Magi's reset again, and please remove that Magi's from your inventory and buy a real item. You're clearly not able to maintain the stacks right now at an efficient rate, and it's just a waste of an inventory slot. Magi's, and it's gone. Thank you.
Are they listening to our cast right now?
They might be. But with that said, we saw the power of the Zoe even without the Magi's there, only granting her 20 AP at that point in time, just able to absolutely one-shot this Lucian, despite the level discrepancy, despite the Lucian having, well, honestly, no tanky stats whatsoever. So I don't know what I really want to say there. Lucian, please build something defensive so that this doesn't happen to you again. And across the map, just more lull state, waiting for these objectives to spawn. Baron just coming up right now, should look to be postured around by both of these teams. And then Soul Point coming up in a minute and 45 seconds.
Looks like MF's in a little bit of a rock and a hard place there, with the bomb going on one side and the Greg's barrel on the other. It'd be really awkward to exit out of there, but she does manage to leave and go back to her team. The Nautilus is going to be put to sleep with the Zoe stories themselves, but is going to be landing the Q to get a little bit further away. I think will fall. Really hard to run away from a Yuumi team, you know. Really hard to escape from this. So the Nautilus does fall. Ornn ultimate going out is going to be doing a double knock-up onto the Ziggs, onto the Lucian. They're going to be looking for more. Gragas is going to be disturbing up the Misfortune, is going to be picking up the kill here. And now Zoe just picked up Lucian, is going to be taking out Ziggs as well. Does have to flash back to their turret. And now it is just Gragas and just Fiora. But Fiora is in their base, by the way. Meanwhile...
Yeah,
Zoe
exactly.
and Fiora are duking it out, and Fiora actually getting an inhibitor off of this. But we're going to see a counter rebuttal to that statement as we see Nekoma taking the Baron.
Yeah, and the Baron does look to be pressured by Nekoma here. Reese on the backside on the Scrag is looking to see if they can get any sort of attempt to steal. Fiora's still fighting the Zoe though, and Zoe's looking to be in danger here. Does flash over the wall, but will she be able to escape the Fiora? And it looks like she will get away with her life. But Fiora's still on that split push there, looking to be able to even pressure the end of the game here, especially if this Baron isn't picked up and those enhanced recalls aren't available. But it does look like the Gragas should be shut down here by the Zoe, and you will be.
Yeah, there goes the Gragas, and so that's going to be a free Baron. We do see Fiora in the base there. They're going to be trying to stop these recalls. The Nautilus is just going to be in the enemy team. You know, he is going to be picked off, but Fiora is going to be looking for more. These recalls are way too fast. Here comes Ornn. Here comes Zoe. Now they have to find an escape route, you know, for Fiora. She is going to be able to get out. Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, especially after the most recent set of buffs to Fiora Q, making it a much lower cooldown when you're not hitting targets with it. You should be able to escape from situations like that quite readily. And now with Baron picked up onto, I believe, 4 or 5 members of Nekoma, they should be able to snowball this into the Dragon here. They do have an advantage on the map with both Nautilus and Gragas not available. Dragon will be picked up, but the bubble hits onto the Lucian. Looking for the kill is Zoe, but won't be able to pick it up, but maybe picking it up onto the Ziggs instead. No, no one will die, but now the Fiora's in danger, and she's actually not, but the bomb's coming out, and it's not killing anyone, and lots of abilities being whipped across the table here, but Gragas is back, and he's saying, no, wait, let me whiff some abilities too. And the fight's over.
How did you like that one? How did you like that one, huh?
It is pretty good.
Did that feel good for you?
No. No, no, it didn't. But on the whole here, there is still the Baron buff. The Baron buff will be running for about another minute and a half on the side of Nekoma, and I'd like to see if they're able to break this base, or at least possibly break the tier 1 mid turret on the side of Imagine Esports. Lucian fighting on this top side here, though, looking to see if they can pick up the Wukong, who will just spin to win away from that fight.
Are you winning, son? Yeah, Dad, I'm spinning.
I don't believe that's what I asked you, son.
Nautilus ultimate going down onto the Misfortune. They might be looking for a pick. Really long range. Nautilus Q going to be landing on the Misfortune there. They are going to be looking for more. Misfortune down from the Gragas. They are going to be looking to see if they can possibly crack open the base. You know that Nekoma do have Baron, but it doesn't look like it, as you see Imagine Esports going out and Magician Zoe going as well. Going to be picking off the Gragas. Is going to be probably going to be picking off the Nautilus as well. Is going to be told this bedtime story, and then good night, sir, to you. Is she going to be picking off another? Who knows? She is fast. She's got the Yumi. She's got the Zoomies.
Yeah, and that cat and that young woman is not happy.
Woman? She's over 2,000 years old.
Something like that, yeah.
Something
sure.
ridiculous like that.
Is she 2,000 or is she 7? I don't know. But Zoe right now, thankfully had got rid of that Magi's, but currently still with that said, sitting on 750 AP thanks to the Yumi buffs from the Yumi sharing AP values, and really just looking to bully people out of this game. We are now on mutual soul point with the last dragon of this game spawning in 2 minutes and 30 seconds at this point in time. And that really, I think that's where we're going to look to decide this game. Whoever managed to pick up the Ocean Soul, so long as they don't lose the game immediately after, should be able to snowball that into an advantage to win this game. Speaking of advantages, there is a 10E. The gold value is exactly even. Now, the actual stat value, we can argue it's going to be a lot off of that because of the ornaments coming out onto all of the members nearly on the side of Nekoma. But
yeah, we're just really waiting for Yumi to get an ornament.
Yeah, she does have redemption, which can be transformed into salvation at the
oh, there it is.
bequest of this Ornn, and it looks like it will be. Yumi herself actually sitting at level 15. That's really high level for a support, and really actually starting to get points in that W. It's starting to share these stats, and that's going to be really relevant, especially on these death crowned carries such as the Zoe.
Yeah, so we do have Dragon in about 1 minute and 20 seconds here. Hunter, what do you expect to see? Are these teams looking for picks, or are they looking for team fights?
Well, there hasn't been a single front-to-back team fight in either of these games, quite frankly. So I expect a lot of people to run at each other and it to be completely decided by who outplays the other players more. We do see a gank coming in onto this Fiora in the top lane, trying to burst her down, but she is a level 18 Fiora, and she does not get.
Meanwhile, bot lane, there's going to be a flashing gate going on to the Gragas. And the Lucian is going to be backing it up. They grab the double inhibitor, and I think they're going to be wanting to leave after this.
And great use of the Baron coming out of... actually, the Baron was on Nekoma. A great split pushing coming out of the side of Imagine Esports here.
So they do get the Ornn knock up onto the Ziggs, going to be picking that off, and then the engage rather, going out and grabbing the 1, the 2, the 3 kills for Nekoma, and they are going to be looking potentially to grab this dragon. These death timers are going to be really long going into the later stage of this game, that they should be picking up Ocean Soul with this as well.
Yeah, and that Ocean Soul should be almost entirely uncontested. I'd actually really like to see the Fiora start making her way into the enemy base and looking to backdoor maybe a turret, an inhib, something while this dragon goes down, because there's no way they're going to be able to contest this, much less with the Wukong there. Wukong does not have smite, but thankfully Zoe does, being able to help secure that dragon in the end there.
Zoe coming in clutch.
Yeah, and just, yeah, Zoe is really obnoxious, really powerful champion, and great plays coming out of the ZZ Dog, really making that champion look as powerful as it can be.
Now, we're going to see a counter rebuttal to this, as we do see Imagine Esports possibly trying to pick off the Baron here. But not every member of a Nekoma or bot lane this time. And they're going to be looking for possibly revenge on the Baron as they go in for an engage. Wukong going to be going onto the Gragas, is going to be picking that up. Ornn is going to be trying to knock up some members of the enemy team, and they are unable to get any kills as the Fiora is picked off by the Misfortune here, and they're going to get a Baron off of this as well. So not only the Ocean Soul inside of Nekoma, but the Baron buff will be slowly applying as well, meaning that they are slowly going to be climbing back into a advantageous spot in this game. Gragas is going to be in the back line, going to see if they could possibly pick that off, but he's going to be falling down to the Zoe. Zig's going to be solo killing the MF here. Really good on him, but they are going to be picking the Baron. There's going to be 4 members of Nekoma with Baron buff now.
Yeah, and I don't think this Nautilus is going to be able to survive here. The Zoe, the Cat, the Wukong is going to run him down. Just make sure that he does not get out of this in one piece. Pick up the kill. Really desynced respawn timers now too. Should be a 4 versus 5 on the map for quite a while as well. And Nekoma should really just look to run this Baron plus this Soul just down into the enemy base right now.
You know, and you see Tommy doing the work that no one wanted to do. Keeping them off of the Baron, keeping them the minions off of the Nexus turrets there, and really just helping out his team as they're just going for picks and fights. And really well played on the top side of the map with that Ornn just doing Ornn duty, you know, cleaning up, being a demigod, if you will.
Yeah, and Zoe currently sitting on 300 or 935 AP. I believe anyone she touches is going to be one shot immediately, but she is running low on mana. Gets engaged on, but she's got a cat.
She's got a cat, and she's got some magical bullets, you know. They are going to be picking off the top side map. They are going to be opening up the base. They're going to be looking for more. Shut down onto the Zoe. This might be the thing they needed for this in this game here for Imagine Esports as they pick off the kill onto the Wukong. The cat is alone and is in danger. They are going to be picking that off. Another double kill going over to the Ziggs. I Am Faded doing a really good job, doing what he can for his team.
Yeah, it's something we haven't been able to talk much about this entire game is, in fact, the Ziggs. They've been doing a good job of just outputting damage in team fights, but it can be so difficult to find this damage onto these super hyper-mobile carries on the side of Nekoma. Just how fast is this MF running with Zoomies and Strut active? How fast is the Zoe moving when she's got Nimbus Cloak and her W passive running? And just the Ghost Wukong constantly dashing invis or ghosted. It's got to be so hard to land some of these really slow, awkward skill shots that the Ziggs has onto these members of the enemy team, especially while trying to stay safe with little to no peel on your own team, aside from maybe a Gragazole.
Red team's inhibitor is respawning soon.
Yeah, so they did crack open the base, but they did not get an inhibitor here. So it's still Ziggs, a big factor in this game, to be honest, because how do you go into the enemy base without any minions? Because Ziggs is existing in this game, you know?
Right, and I think that's really going to come down to either the Elder or another Baron here, where they'll be able to push it, or it could just be a pick onto the Ziggs coming in from the multiple, well, Zoe Q plus an Ornn ulti should just about one-shot it. We see that Ornn ulti coming out right now. Will be interrupted, but the
But
Sleepy
Zoe
Trouble
Bubble
will
from
connect.
downtown. They're going to be doing an engage. The Zoe is going to be looking for more. He's going to be onto the Gregus, doing some nice damage over to him. But now we're going to be looking onto the Ornn. We are going to be looking onto the Nautilus, as they're going to be engaging onto that as well. The Wukong is underneath their tier 1 turret, but is going to be able to live with this Ocean Soul buff. It is a hell of a drug, if you will, as they just kind of keep being steroided and keep advancing. The Gregus is going to be trying to grab a pick here. Just flash forward, is unable to grab the kill. Fiora is in their base, just trying to grab the double inhibitors once more, trying to stall out the game. Tons coming out from the Lucian. Now they're going to be looking for more. It's going to be is obliterated by the Misfortune, by the Lucian. Now they're going to be looking for more. The Infinite Blaze is going to be going on to Barb, Adrian there, and Fiora should live with their lives, but it's going to be really hard fought as they heal up the full from these minions, and they're going to be trying to stay clear off waves as the utter force of the Neko team here is going to be really hard
Absolutely.
to contain.
And right now, you said how do they go into the base with no minions? Well, they go into the base with no minions. Just Ornn is able to entirely tank up these turrets at this point between the Yuumi and the Ocean Soul. MF being close to one-shot here. Nautilus Assault coming down under, but not able to pick up the kill. Lots of damage going down in the backline. Ornn looking onto the Ziggs, and there's just no damage left alive to be able to contest this team. They're so tanky between the Ocean Soul and these ornaments and just level 18 stats, and it just looks like they're going to be able to get through this game pretty safely from this point on. Elder is alive, and it looks like they're just going to try and pick up this Elder. Looks like Zoe might stay behind looking to pick up a free kill, but the Wukong but the Graga is actually in a really weird spot here.
Oh,
Doesn't know Zoe's here,
the
though.
enemy team, but Zoe's not being fooled again. As they take out the Gregus, they are going to be looking for more. They should be picking up this Elder relatively easily here. Zoe Bubble going over the wall, landing on Lucian, is going to be smited and taken with the Elder buff. It is going to be picking off the Fiora, and now is going to be looking for an end game situation.
Yeah, and the Zoe here is just going to probably pick up these last 2 kills with auto attacks at this point. It doesn't really matter what you do if you're on the side of Nekoma.
Heal
But-
Yumi!
But he does fall down in the end. 25 and 10 for the Zoe in this game. Absolutely absurd amount of kills, 39 kill participation. And Nautilus will fall down here, just doing what they can. Never say they're a KDA player. And the base will fall. Nekoma will pick up the 2-0. Anything but easy. Very, very long games, very bloody games both times around, coming down to these soul points and coming down to just lots and lots of plays coming out of both teams.
Yeah, I mean, you perfectly recapped the whole game with just that, just fight night, if you will, against these two teams, and constant fighting, constant battling. And then you do see Nekoma coming in. Their team comp here, really, really good and really, really well executed. And Zoe popping off again with the Yumi Zoomies. Zoe coming in and just putting people to sleep, obliterating their health bar. It's really hard to counterplay that unless you put all 5 members of your team to fight it. And as you saw this game, they came in, they played lane rather safely, and then they won team fights, and they kept fighting. They kept looking for objectives after objectives. The objectives this games were extremely close, with one great steal coming out from Reese here and onto the Gragas. It's a really well played game and really well executed. But you do see them going to be coming out on top here, and you see possibly even though Fiora was really strong in the early games, they kind of fell apart into the later stages of this game.
Yeah, and I think that's the story of at least this game for Imagine Esports. They had the win condition, they had the Fiora with the massive advantage, with the solo kill potential onto the Ornn, and they weren't able to properly set up the map to allow the Fiora to split push effectively, at least not to a point where they could leverage the advantage for a win. They did manage to get the inhib in the bot lane, but they were never able to turn that map advantage into something meaningful. At least it didn't look like it. And because of that, the team fighting comp, the scaling comp, and the Yuumi as well as good skill shot accuracy coming out of the Zoe, really took over at the end of the game here.
Yeah, very well said. And Hunter, who do you think are MVP and ace for this game here?
Oh, okay. Well, let's start with Ace on Imagine Esports. I think it's got to go over to Goonball on the Lucian in the mid lane. I was very impressed by their Lucian play overall. They had a very good scoreline going through the mid game and did well in lane against the Zoe. And we know the Zoe's confident just based on how well they played around outside of lane phase. So I really do think some awards should go over to the Lucian there. Though shout out to the Ziggs to be certain, trying their best to do what they can. Just not a glamorous role playing Ziggs into a highly mobile team like that. And as far as MVP goes on the side of Nekoma, it's got to go over to ZZ Dog again. Massive performance coming out on the Zoe, hitting all of these abilities all over the map, making really just carrying their team through a lot of the hard times this game with great picks and great bubbles.
Very well said. Very good job from both teams here. And what do you think we should expect from future games from watching them? Do you think that they're going to be looking for more mid-game oriented team comps coming in from Nekoma? And for Imagine Esports, what do we see in the future for them?
Oh man, so for Nekoma, it's difficult to say because I don't know how their mid lane normally plays out, seeing as they were playing with a sub this series. I do see a lot of attention coming towards this Ornn pick and this Wukong pick, which means they're likely to focus on these scaling / team fight 5 versus 5 comps. Wukong can spike at different points in the game. Normally spikes pretty early, I think. I don't know. I'm not super accustomed to the new Wukong changes. But the Ornn lets you pretty well scale harder into the late game and should be looking around these dragon comps, which is really what we saw from them in both of these games. On the side of Imagine Esports, they seem, I'd say, even a little lost. They're putting together interesting team comps that play around their team's strengths, but they don't really have a team identity, at least not based off these two games, where they try one game where they're super hard early game all in, and then this game, they're sort of a mix between the Gragas and the Lucian in the early game and the Ziggs and the Fiora in the late game, and it's just not able to bring it all together.
That's really well said. Really interesting to see these two teams in the future here. And when we come back, folks, we're going into a Freljord division match between Blood Oath Kings versus this team.